There's nothing worse than wasting your time, your money, and your energy on useless, ineffective, and pointless marketing strategies that do nothing to grow your business. And that's why in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 7 of my best small business marketing strategies to help you get far better results in far less time. All right, let's get to it. Hey there, Adam Erhart here, marketing strategist, and welcome to The Marketing Show. All right, it's no secret that when it comes to marketing and when it comes to digital marketing and even when we're talking about social media marketing or email marketing or video marketing, there's really no limit to the amount of strategies and the amount of tactics and the amount of tools and software and all sorts of stuff that's out there. And everybody seems to have a really strong opinion about which strategy is going to be the best one for you and which one is just a waste of time and don't even bother. And the reality is that when you're operating a small business or you're an entrepreneur or even a marketer within a company, this onslaught of information, this overwhelming amount of ideas and strategies, well, it's exactly that. It's overwhelming, and it often leaves you paralyzed and unsure what to do, and everything just looks confusing. So what most people end up doing is nothing at all. Probably unsurprisingly, doing nothing at all is going to lead to the absolute worst results. So I want to clear through some of the clutter for you here, and I want to share with you what I've learned after nearly a decade of doing this and helping thousands of different businesses integrate and operate and really perform at the highest level when it comes to their marketing strategies. So with all that said, let's start with number 1, which is to go where your people are. Now, I've said this before, I know I'm going to say it again. I sound like a bit of a broken record because it is that important. And it's one thing to hear it, it's another entirely to do it. Again, this is going to sound pretty obvious here, but you may, upon reflection, upon analyzing your business, realize that you might be missing the mark here. And what I'm talking about is ignoring, or at least not being fully aware of where your ideal target market is active and present online and going there rather than just chasing every shiny object or following every guru or idea or tip that comes across your plate thinking that's going to be the next big thing. You see, there's this advice that's floating around to do everything and be everywhere, and that's overwhelming and exhausting and not realistic because you've got a limited amount of time, money, and energy. So the last thing you want to be doing is spreading yourself incredibly thin across all of these different channels, all these different networks, trying all these different tools and strategies, when really what you want to do is focus in on where your market is and double down there. This is going to be your business's sweet spot, and everything else, I call that the marketing wasteland, because there's no point in you spending your time and your advertising dollars on channels and platforms where none of your market is present or active. Again, it sounds crazy obvious, yet you'd be amazed at how many times I see businesses literally just flushing money down the toilet on platforms where none of their market is active or present. So how do you figure this out? Well, it all starts with your ideal customer avatar, that representation of a person who makes up the absolute best customer that you want for your business, typically comprised of 3 different things, being demographic details like age, gender, income, occupation, title, things like that, kind of all the stereotypical stuff we think of when we think about an ideal target market. Then we've got the geographic things like city, state, province, country, maybe even neighborhood or street if you're a small local business. And then you've got psychographic details like what are their attitudes and their beliefs and their interests and groups and organizations and pages that they follow and things they like and books they read and all the head stuff. The beauty here is in the simplicity, and that once you've really clearly defined and articulated your ideal customer avatar, that perfect target market that you want to go after, all you really need to do is head over to Google and type in a quick search about where demographics like the person you're describing hangs out, both online and offline, and you'll get a pretty clear picture really quickly, which will allow you to just cut through the clutter, ignore 90% of the stuff you shouldn't be doing, and focus in on the 10% where the real money lies. All right, the next thing you're going to want to do for the utmost success is to trim the fat. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the previous thing that I was just talking about avoiding the wasteland and go where your customers are. Well, the next thing you want to do is take it a step further and really identify all of the different marketing and advertising activities that you're currently engaged in your business, because the odds are good, and in fact, probably guaranteed, that there's some things you're doing that are just not working, or at the very least, not working as well as some of the other things you're doing or at least could be doing. No joke here, but almost every single time I audit a client's marketing or I look through their operations, I can identify something somewhere that they're doing that they should probably not be doing and can save them a ton of time and a ton of money just by avoiding that. Also, while we're on the topic of trimming the fat and cleaning up your marketing, make sure to take a look at all of the old and dead social media platforms that you're just not using anymore that you might still be linking to from your website. Yeah, I'm talking to you, person who's been linking to their Twitter account that hasn't been posted on since 2014. You gotta get that thing out of there. It's doing nothing for your business, it's doing nothing for your brand, and it's just taking up space. The key here is to really be honest and be accountable with your marketing. Is it doing what you thought it would be doing? Is the agency that you hired delivering the results that they promised they would deliver? And are the strategies that you're deploying actually delivering the results or the clients or the revenue or the customers that you thought they would initially? If not, it's time for an honest and pretty tough heart-to-heart conversation to really make sure that you're doing the best things for your business. Otherwise, you're not gonna grow. And this leads me perfectly to my next point, which is I want you to simplify all of your marketing, but I don't want you to do less. I actually want you to do more, but I want you to do more of the good stuff. For as long as I can remember, there's been this massive debate when it comes to what's more important, quality or quantity. And there seems to be two very different views. And I know that I've kind of wavered or waffled or staggered or fallen, oscillated, jumped back and forth. Anyway, I've certainly jumped back and forth between quality is more important, no, quantity is more important, and the answer here is kind of a cop-out, but it really is somewhere in the middle. But I would verge more on the side of quantity, certainly if you're just getting started, because one of the biggest barriers to creating content, to creating marketing materials, to launching new campaigns is just fear. And there's no better way to get over the fear than to just dive in headfirst and do it. Sure, at first it's a little bit scary, whether we're talking about writing a blog post, whether we're talking about recording a podcast, whether we're talking about filming a video and uploading it online for potentially thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not even millions of people to see. But it's something that you're gonna wanna get over if you want your business to grow. Plus, I can assure you, you will get negative comments on your stuff. However, I can also assure you that I can predict down to about the dollar the level of success someone has based on the comments that they leave on my content. The reality is that really successful people just don't leave nasty comments. I promise, they just don't have time, nor do they care, nor do they want you to fail. So ignore the haters, ignore the trolls, put out your best stuff, and put out as much of it as you possibly can, especially if your intention is pure and you're really trying to help people. Also, the argument of overwhelming people with content, well, it just doesn't seem to stand these days because the algorithms, whether we're talking about the Facebook algorithm or the YouTube algorithm or Instagram's algorithm or whatever it is, they're really trying hard to make sure that the right people see the right stuff at the right time, which means that if you put out good content that people are going to want to see, well, the networks are going to show it. And if you put out okay content that people may not want to see, well, they're going to hold it back a bit and give you some time to improve. All right, moving right along to the next strategy is all about pay to play. Now, there's still a debate going on in marketing circles, especially among more novice business owners and earlier entrepreneurs about the ethics or the morality or even the effectiveness of organic versus paid traffic. What I'm talking about here is organic traffic, organic social media, is any kind of content that you create that you're not putting advertising dollars behind. Paid traffic, on the other hand, is any time that you are paying for something, like a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad, a YouTube ad, a LinkedIn ad, basically anything with an ad. Now, first things first. One is not more ethical or more moral than the other. It's simply a game and a system of trying to understand the networks and where they're swaying and really interjecting your content in the best way possible to make sure that you get in front of the right person. So let me break that down for just a second. You see, the typical life cycle of a social media network, of really any online network, and even offline networks like magazines and newspapers and radio, is that they've got a limited amount of space to put content in front of people. Now, when a network first comes on the scene, or a new magazine, or a new newspaper, or a new social media network, regardless, they've got a lot more space and they're trying to get users to create more content. So they're going to do their best to promote your content and show it to everybody that they possibly can. But once you fast forward this thing, once this thing starts to become popular and really take off, well, real estate becomes a lot more valuable because they're going to have a limited supply and a lot more demand. What this means is that they're going to start charging for them to show your content to the right kind of people. The beauty here is a whole lot of people get bent out of shape. They think this is wrong. They think it should always be free. And frankly, there's a massive amount of entitlement there that I just don't agree with. But regardless of my viewpoints, the point is that if you're willing to put a few dollars behind your content, you can really obliterate all of the people who are relying just on organic, thinking that paid traffic is immoral or unethical or just against their business values, which is silly, but everyone's entitled to their opinion, even if it's wrong. The point here is that to succeed today online, you need to deploy a paid traffic strategy. So if you're just getting started with this, I appreciate it can be very overwhelming. So make sure to look through some of my playlists and some of my videos where I'm going to break it down step by step to help get you started. All right, let's move on to the next strategy that I really want you to be deploying today, tomorrow, for years to come. And that is, probably unsurprisingly, video content. I say unsurprisingly because this is a video, and it's been no secret that I've made a lot of them, and they've worked really well to help grow the brand and grow the business. But even more important than the positive effect that they've had on my business and my brand is the positive effect that they've had on my clients and my students' brand, proving that this is a really valuable and valuable strategy. Let me say this loud and clear. Every single business needs to be making more video content. Even me. Actually, especially me. Because I know it works. So I really don't have an excuse. But there are excuses, and they're valid, including, again, that fear of judgment, the discomfort of talking to a lens. Even though I know you're on the other side listening and watching, it still can be a little bit off-putting, especially when you're just getting started. And of course, there are some more barriers to entry, like what kind of camera you're gonna get, and what kind of microphone, and how you're gonna edit it. What about lighting? What about studio? What about composition? All this other stuff that, quite frankly, really doesn't matter as much as you might think. In fact, even to this day, some of my best performing videos are ones that I recorded years ago that, in my opinion, they're okay, but they're not that great. And yet, it was the content and the message and the value behind the video that really allowed it to resonate and therefore become more popular. Long story short, video, try to do more of it. All right, my next tip is all about learning before you delegate. Now, this is important to talk about whether you're just getting started in business or whether you're more established and you're looking to grow and scale and take it to the next level. The important thing here is that to properly delegate, to properly hire someone, whether it's someone to help you with your social media marketing, someone to help you with your ads, someone to help do whatever when it comes to online marketing, really, you really want to have a basic understanding of what you're delegating, of what you're trying to communicate, so that you can know if they're doing it right, if it's in alignment with your values, and really just so it can be more accountable to your end goals. The last thing you want to do is go out there and just hire a marketing agency and say, hey, we need some marketing and here's a few $1,000 and go nuts. That's a great way to lose a few $1,000. Even if the marketing agency is good and knows what they're doing and is ethical and honest, well, even then, they're still not going to have a really clear understanding of what exactly you want and why you want it and if this is the best strategy until you've clearly articulated your business and your goals and what you think is going to be the best strategy. It's going to allow you to essentially make sure that you're on the right path and you're giving them the best advice and the best strategies and the best goals and everything that you want to build towards. Also, again, probably unsurprisingly, social media, digital marketing, online marketing, websites, all of this stuff that's going on online, it's not going anywhere. Certainly not anytime soon. So these are incredibly valuable skills to learn and to try to develop so that you can at least get to a baseline or foundational level or knowledge or understanding so you can really make sure that you're setting your business up for success, again, not just today, but for years to come. Speaking of years to come, leads me perfectly to my next point, which is when it comes to developing a marketing strategy for your business, you really want to focus on playing the long game. Regardless of what strategy, of what tactic, or of what tool you're going to be deploying in your business, they're going to take a little bit of time. Some are going to take a whole lot of time, and you need to be prepared for that. Marketing should never be a reactive activity that you do when you're panicked, when you're running out of customers, and when your revenue is down. It should always be proactive. It should be planning ahead. The best time to market is when you don't need to do any marketing at all because you're flush with cash, you've got customers coming in, and you can actually afford to make really strategic and really logical decisions based on, again, strategy rather than fear. Now, of course, some strategies are going to be quicker than others. When we're talking about direct response marketing and things like Facebook ads or any kind of pay-per-click, you should expect to see a result pretty quickly. But there is going to be a testing phase. On the other hand, strategies like content marketing or SEO, search engine optimization, these things can take months, and if you're really, really competitive, often a whole lot of months. This is why one of the most important discussions that you need to have with yourself, with your team, and with anyone that you're looking to hire is your time frame. If you're just planning on giving it a shot for a couple weeks and then giving up when things get ugly, you should probably not even start at all and just focus on the business, on your products, on your operations, on your sales, on all the other stuff aside from marketing, because marketing is going to take a bit of time, though it's completely worth it. All right, the next thing you're gonna wanna do is check out the video I have linked up right here on Intro to Marketing, which is the next piece of the puzzle. So check that out now, and I'll see you in the next episode. as I fell in love with marketing years ago when I first got interested in figuring out why people buy and act the way they do, and later how to influence